At first glance, Panzer Dragoon may look like just another fantasy game, an on-rails shooter, little more than a tech demo. In fact, it was the evolution of a genre. It was an incredible, at the time, unmatched attempt at storytelling in the medium. One of the most criminally underappreciated games of all time, Panzer Dragoon was the evolution of shmup design and world building in video games. In the distant future, mankind inhabits a hostile, barren wasteland. Nature has been abolished, replaced with a genetically engineered ecosystem. Humans have become a part of this ecosystem, though our place rests near the bottom. Though never outright said to be Earth, the world presented is one that has suffered through harsh climate change and a total transformation of life. Monstrous predators transcending the boundaries of biology and machine roam the landscape. Barren deserts, expansive forests, and underground labyrinths carved by the ancients make up this beautiful and terrible world. Panzer Dragoon's great achievement is the care and detail put into its universe. The game tells an engaging story without bogging the player down with pages of generic lore. While comparisons to Dune and Pern could be made, Panzer Dragoon is still quite unique. Though the game presents only a small snippet of the larger world, you get the sense there is indeed more going on in the distance. In the world of Panzer Dragoon, you are either a member of the Empire, bent on expansion and repression, or you are in a tribe. Saved from certain death by a mysterious dragon and its rider, our hero is handed an epic task of the utmost importance. The Empire is after an ancient device known as the Tower. Should they activate it, a terrible force could be unleashed. Connected to this mysterious creature via telepathic link, Keel's life of hunting and gathering is swapped for that of a warrior. After a lengthy opening movie, cinematics are periodically shown after the completion of certain levels. The world of Panzer Dragoon is harsh, and its story represents this harshness. This is not a tale of zero to hero overcoming all odds. Instead, it is a tragedy, heroic sacrifice that bends, but does not break, the fate of mankind. Though Keel's tale is only a drop in the bucket of this massive world, the brilliantly conceptualized art and sound direction flesh Panzer Dragoon into a fully conceived fantasy universe. The world is a mix of organic and ornamental, with deco and surrealist inspirations. Vast deserted landscapes smelled with new, hyper-evolved life forms. There is a cross of tech and flesh, but not in a cyberpunk sort of way. The smooth, bone-like design to the armor and weaponry radiate both primitive, nomadic inspirations and futurist cleanliness. The game's art design was actually inspired by the famed artist Mobius' strip Arzak. In a cool twist of events, Mobius lent his inking and coloring skills to the game's cover. The score is a powerful combination of orchestration and electronica. Because the game operates on rails, music cues naturally as levels progress. Another great accomplishment in world and sound design is the language of Panzerese. Panzerese is a mix of several languages, with Japanese being predominant. To create a functional language to further your game's world just goes to show the level of devotion the developers had. On a technical level, the game is quite impressive, though notably first generation. The CG cinematics run clear and smooth, treating players who make it far enough to see them all. In-game, the 3D modeling is impressive for early Saturn era. Though a bit jagged and pixelated, the texturing makes each character and construction stand out. The way your dragon glides through the air, body waving, makes it feel like a weighty, believable creature. Every creature, though foreign and impossible in design, moves with such realism it's hard not to stop and stare. Though far from the steady 60 frames per second one would see in later Saturn games, Panzer Dragoon still pulls off some terribly exciting chase sequences throughout its campaign. Panzer Dragoon is much like the dragon the player controls, a product of evolution. Panzer Dragoon is an on-rails shooter. Part light gun game, part shmup, Panzer Dragoon is easy to learn but hard to master. Facing forward, the player is guided down various paths shooting oncoming opposition. The Dragon is free to move about the screen, dodging enemy fire. What makes Panzer Dragoon different from Space Harrier or Star Fox is the 360-degree rotation. There is a sense of urgency and strategy when playing. Memorization and foresight are required to anticipate enemy flanks. With the click of a trigger, the viewpoint will rotate around the dragon. While shooting to the side or behind, only the cursor will move. Movement of the dragon is locked until once again facing forward. It can be dizzying, scanning your radar, prioritizing threats, and anticipating flanks. Aside from the triggers, all three main face buttons shoot, while all three sub-face buttons change the camera angle. Holding fire and scanning enemies with your cursor will result in a locked-on, high-powered laser shot. This can be good for taking out groups. Mashing the fire button will cause Kale to fire his blaster, good for taking out armored enemies, incoming fire, or enemies impervious to the dragon's attack. Should your health bar deplete, you are provided with one continue to restart the level from the beginning. This can be a bit frustrating as some later levels can get quite long, however it also aids in level memorization, driving home the need for perfection. Additional continues can be obtained by shooting down over 90% of all enemies in a level. There is an easy mode which grants more continues, however you can only travel as far as episode 4. If there is one oversight worth mentioning, it is that the cursor can sometimes disappear behind enemy or environmental models. Unable to see exactly where you are aiming, you'll have to fire blindly until bearings are regained. Panzer Dragoon's simple gameplay is made exciting via incredible level design, enemy placement, and art direction. It will appeal to fans of shooters of all types, whether it be classic shmup or modern third-person. It's rare for an arcade-style game to be backed up by such a lush and fascinating story. PC, Xbox, or Saturn, Panzer Dragoon is as fine a game today as when it first launched.